Um, so actually, while we're waiting, we can answer this right here. This is Mr. Steve, right? So he came on last stream, and this is the one that we went on about the law and everything. So he says, question one, is man made in the image and likeness of God? Yes. Okay, simple yes. Question two, does God fit the description of the Trinity that you teach? Um, and then surely man should fit the same description if he is in the image and likeness of God. So the problem with this is that we're trying to put God in a box, limitations that has to fit. In order to make God make sense, right? We have to fit him in our little box. And we have to put him in that little box, right? Uh, where he can't go anywhere else outside of what fits with his creation. I don't think that's correct. I don't think that you can look at God like that. Um, now, what he brought up before was the body, soul, and spirit, right, of a human, and he's trying to connect that with the Godhead, right, the Trinity. But the major problem here is that you're not understanding the personages of the Father, Son, and Spirit, the distinct personages. And I would love to talk about that tonight. Um, so, yeah, let's talk about it. Um, so, are we made in the image of likeness of God? Absolutely yes. But of whose image? Who is the image of the invisible God? Jesus. Jesus is the image of the invisible God, right? Colossians 1:15. Okay? And so if Jesus, the Son, if he is the image of the invisible God, right? No man can see him, okay? Um, no one can come to him. No one can approach him, right? He is invisible, right? We can't see him. No one has ever seen God, but it's the one, the unique one, the Son of God, who has revealed him to us, okay? And that was one of the main things that he wanted to do, was to reveal the Father to us, right? So I think when it says that we are made in the image and likeness of God, that's exactly what that is, right? But we look and resemble the Son of Man, um, and so that's what I think. Because again, the image of the invisible God, right? And Christ became His creation, okay? But Christ was before His creation, okay? So when Colossians 1:17 says that he is before all things and all things hold together by him, right? Um, it's clear. Let me set it. Took this off for some reason.
Let me see. I'll
Okay,
join in a minute. I don't know how long it takes.
there we go. All right. Um, let
I
me
want him to.
see.
I think he's going to read this verse, and
Yeah,
I'll
here it
make a
is.
couple of comments. He gets them up here.
Okay. All right. So this is one of the passages that I want to go over tonight. Hopefully, we talk. Uh,
Oh no, this is to.
we can talk to different people and everything.
I would have been happy to talk
Um,
to him about that, though. We didn't
and
actually
anybody
talk
that
about
wants
this
to
one.
shed some light on the
Not
Trinity,
before in
or
15. I would have.
wants to go against the Trinity, the link is in the description below. Come on board, and we'll talk. But again, so if we look at let's see, let's go to again Colossians chapter 1. Okay, so it says verse 15. He is the
Right.
image of
Okay.
the
Let's
invisible
move.
God, the Father on earth and in heaven, making peace by the blood of his cross. Who? The Son's cross. Okay? The image of the invisible God. There he is, Mr. Steve. What's going on, man? If he is the image of the invisible God, how many persons is that? That's two. Okay, that's the image, and then the invisible God. See, so Jesus again calls himself and the Father two people. Okay, and so if he can do that, he's fully God, right? Then that separates. And again, I want to talk to you about this stuff because um, this is, let's see, was that what he looks like? Who looks like? Is that what he looks like? Who's the he?
When I looked, I should keep my mouth shut until I join.
If you're talking about the Father, then no, the Father is formless. The Father is spirit. No, that's not at all what he's talking about. He's saying who is bearing witness. Okay, right. So he puts us in there. He puts John the Baptist in there as one of the witnesses. Um, he puts all of us individually as the witnesses to him. Right. So everybody that he puts as a witness, right, that testifies, that actually verbally testifies, are persons, different persons, right?
I hadn't
Different
quite
people.
noticed how much he was
And
waffling,
so
really.
he puts him, the Father, and the Spirit distinctively bearing witness. So no, he does not look like two people. I don't even know what that means. But again, I have the.
Because he said the
If you want to
image
talk
was
about
two
it,
people.
the link is in the description. Go ahead and, or not the description. It's in
I join up now.
the comment section. So go ahead. I want to talk about this with you. Formless, but Jesus is his image, right? Okay, here it is. What's going on, man?
How are you? Yeah, no, I'm well, thank you. Have I got my sound working now? So, oh yeah, no, I can hear all good. How are you? You can hear me?
I can hear you great. Yeah.
Cool, man.
Sound
So
good.
if Jesus is the form of the invisible God, then Jesus obviously, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory that he's the form. So whatever form he took, however many persons he appears as, then that is going to be how many persons God is, isn't it? Because he's the image. So
No,
whatever,
that wouldn't follow because again, like
Oh, it wouldn't follow.
he is the way that we can see the Father. So that's
yeah,
the
he's
of the
he's the
invisible
image
God.
of the Father. He's the incarnation of the Father.
No. He. Okay, we can go into like Philippians 2, right? But the point here is that you know when you said that it doesn't matter how many persons he appears to be.
Yeah,
See,
because he's the
that's
image of
assuming
the.
that Jesus is the full God, and
Well,
he's not.
you teach that the full God is three persons. So what is that as an image then?
Well, again, Jesus is the image, right? And I mean, the Holy
Well,
Spirit is a
yeah.
spirit, right? And then the
So
Father is also spirit.
so
So
was Jesus actually a conjoined twin, like three
So
people as one being?
now I think you're confusing the two persons thing.
Well, no, you say three persons, don't you? Three
Yeah.
persons, all conjoined as one being, just taking up the essence, the space of one being.
Mhm.
There's not, they can't stand on separate sides of the room from each other
So what?
because they're one being.
Yeah. So I think we need to adjust the term here of person. Okay. You're mistaking a person for just a human being.
Well,
Would that be right?
a person has the ability to think, act, and I think I've heard God Logic say he uses the word choose or something, make a choice.
Right.
But the point, I mean, the, one of the things I said in the last stream is that the Father cannot act on his own. He doesn't act. When he acts, he speaks, and it's his word that then creates and does the action.
Mm-hmm.
So the Father doesn't have that aspect of action on his own. But his action is his word, and he is personified in his word. But it's just one person. And when we then see the image of God, which Jesus is the image of the invisible word, we're only looking at one person, unless you are suggesting he is a conjoined triplet, sorry, a conjoined triplet, where it would be, being three persons.
I don't
in
know
a
why he
single
couldn't
being.
just be like us. I don't know why he has to be a conjoined triplet. I
Well,
don't know why
because
he can't be.
when I asked you if you would describe a human as three persons, you said no, that would be stupid.
Yeah,
And
it
and
would.
you're right, it would be stupid, but it is also stupid to describe the Godhead as three persons in
But
one being.
that's the thing. Like
But
you're
it's the exact same thing.
no, it's not. So you're misunderstanding the personages of the Trinity. Okay, so yes. So a person would have to think, right?
Yeah.
Have a will, okay? Have a choice, do certain things, right?
Right.
So
So what can the Father do?
well, so the Bible says that the Father speaks,
But then you're saying that the Word is a separate person, so it's not.
and
So is it
right.
the Father, or are you saying that a
Well, it
word?
says that he was with the Father from all eternity.
But your words, like in your brain, aren't they, before they actually come out? So the word would be in the mind of the Father.
That would be in the aspect of like eternity, right? When before he
Yeah.
became flesh.
But
Okay,
words are
be
in
the
your
Word,
mind. Words are in your mind before you say them.
right? But the problem here, okay, is that the Word emptied himself and became flesh. So what you're confusing with, like, just because it says the Word, right? The divine logos, okay? You're taking that and you're saying, well, it's just like the words that are coming out of my mouth. That's not true, because again, if we look into what Scripture says, right, the Father speaks to the Son and or speaks about the Son. Okay, in Hebrews chapter 1, verse 10. Okay, he says, "You, Lord, laid the foundations with your hands." Speaking about the Son.
Yeah, but the Bible also says that the Father created. It's
Exactly. So
so
that's the two persons working together
it's
to
it's
create
it's
all
it's
things.
it's the mind that's then projecting the word, and the word creates, but it's still just
But
it's
see,
one
that's the
person.
problem, because the Father has a mind, the Son has a mind, and the Spirit has a mind.
But they don't have all of the elements of personhood, though.
Yeah, they
They're
do.
not individually.
Yes, they do.
I mean,
Absolutely, they do.
the holy. I mean, I've spoken with God Logic. He said that the Father doesn't have a body. Is something
No,
that he said to me.
it doesn't.
So, and whereas when we read in Isaiah, the
Mhm,
Father reveals his arm, and
mhm.
you're probably now going to go, oh well, it's not a literal arm,
No, it's not.
and exactly, and it's like
And that is
Right on
acceptable.
cue.
but
That ought to
but
be acceptable when you read the
no,
Bible and you can
no,
see the differences.
no, because the Father,
So
he
everything in
has
the
he
Bible
has
is literal then.
unless you want to make it up as you go along. Have you got that authority?
Okay, if God is said to be spirit, formless, invisible, in many
Yeah.
different passages, if that is God, then he cannot possibly have an arm.
Have you ever seen a celestial body?
Have you?
No.
Okay.
So
No.
how are you going to tell me it hasn't got an arm?
Okay. Explain, because I don't know where you're getting at with this.
Well, the celestial body is
Mhm.
the invisible God, and
Okay.
Jesus is the image of the invisible God.
There you go.
So he is the terrestrial body that is the image of the celestial body,
Hmm.
and Jesus has an arm.
Okay. Great.
Therefore, the celestial body has an arm, and the Father has a celestial body,
Hmm.
and the Father incarnated
Does not
in
have. an arm, and no, it is not
He revealed
the
his
Father
arm.
that is incarnated.
Oh, dearie me.
The Father
It's not.
revealed his arm, and you didn't get the message.
No. So here's the thing again,
Get
right?
up Isaiah 53:1 on the screen for a moment.
Yeah. You already did that last stream, okay? That doesn't say anything, okay?
I think I got up
that doesn't
52:10
go.
last time.
That doesn't go anywhere.
I got up 52:10 last time.
52:10. What was the
And I said 53:1 this time.
53:1? Okay, hang on. My apologies. Okay.
However, 52:10 did include that he laid his arm bare.
Yeah, I
before
remember,
the sight
but
of the
again,
nations.
that doesn't even say anything to what we're talking about. Just because it says that God laid his hand down or his arm down, that doesn't mean anything. So what is it? 53:1.
53:1.
Okay. Let me pull it up. There it is. Can you see that at all?
Yeah, I can see that. Yep.
Okay.
Who has believed what he has heard from us, and to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? So the Lord's revealed his arm. So if you haven't seen it, then you're late to the party. If you don't know that the Lord has an arm after he's revealed it, you're late to the party.
Yeah, I think you're misunderstanding the symbolism to the arm.
I think you missed seeing it, mate, when he revealed it.
No, bro. I think what it is that you're taking two right now little passages out of context, right?
No.
Hear me out. Listen, and then you're miscrediting the other passage.
Let me stop you, because you said that I took two passages out of context. We are now on to about the sixth passage or something. We started talking about
I'm talking about Isaiah
image.
2. I'm talking about the arm thing.
But you've got to pull it all together. We're talking about the image of the invisible God. We're talking about him revealing his arm. And you're not seeing it.
You're not seeing the symbolism.
You've got
You're not
fog
seeing the
over
symbolism.
your eyes.
You're not seeing the symbolism, man.
But you're worshipping a conjoined triplet, man. If you say so,
if you say so, I guess.
It has to be, mate. If it's three persons that are in,
can we go through the actual passages that I'm trying to go
being,
through instead of just looking at one passage that says that he laid down his arm?
As I say, dude, we've looked at multiple passages now, and you're
no,
trying to say
I want to
that
go
we've
through
looked
it
at one.
because the overwhelming the overwhelming evidence of the Trinity is incredible. That's all I got. Like again, whenever I said that the three persons of the one God has a mind, each one, okay, and you just wrote that off.
I can accept that they can think individually and they have that, but they can't all act, and they're not all persons. They come together as one person.
So why can't they?
Because because they're not a person. They're one person.
That's what the Bible. That's how the Bible describes the three persons of the Trinity.
Right,
exactly.
So I've said to you, what does the Father do? What is the action of the Father? Give me in the Bible one place where the Father, and I mean the Father, I don't want the word shows up in a burning bush. I don't want it to be any of the examples where it's the Word or the Son that's the incarnation of the Word when he took on flesh. Give me one place in the Bible where the Father makes an action.
So which one do you want? Like what kind of action do you want?
Just one. As I say, every time the Father acts, it is either by his word or by the arm that he's revealed. But
wait, hang on. So here's the problem, right? What you just said is that you just distinguished the arm from the word.
They're basically the same.
They are the same. That's what it is. They are the same.
That's because the Father has a body.
The Father has a body.
And he can speak.
So the Father's not spirit then. The Father's not spirit?
He has a celestial body, which is spirit.
No.
And he incarnated into a terrestrial body, which is Jesus, like us.
Look,
because
here's the
we're
thing.
made in his image and likeness.
He is invisible.
But Jesus is his
He's a
visible
spirit.
image. But
Can you
Jesus
see a
is his
spirit? Can you see a spirit?
when I joined, you were reading a verse saying that Jesus is the image of the invisible God.
Yes.
Yeah. So what
So
image was Jesus?
I'm asking you another question so that we can try to
But
understand
Jesus
each
has
other.
the image of a single person like you and me. He has an arm. He speaks words.
Uh-huh.
He's
Not
made
as a single, as
because
him
he made
himself, he is a
man.
single person, yes.
Because he made man in his image and likeness. And it's just one person. And Jesus is one person. And
No.
it's one person of God. And
No.
Jesus is God.
No, because again, well, yeah, Jesus is God, absolutely. You have to have that. And I think without that,
But he's
or with that, you have the Trinity, and you have to acknowledge the Trinity if you acknowledge that the Son of God is God himself.
do you believe in life after death?
Yes.
So
You
do
have
you
to.
so when I used the word avatar the other day, I saw you start shaking your head. You didn't actually talk or say anything, but you were shaking your head, and you obviously you didn't like the word avatar. So you tell me, what if the human body is not just a temporary avatar for a time being whilst we're on Earth, and that we actually have a nature that goes up afterwards,
Mhm.
then or even maybe down in some people's case, whatever. If what's wrong with this idea of the body just being a temporary vessel like an avatar that something higher is actually driving and that will remain even when the avatar is gone? Why would you shake your head over something like that?
Well, because an avatar is basically, when you say that Jesus Christ, the Son of God, is the avatar of the Father, then that means that it's just the Father. It's no longer the Son has nothing outside of himself, and that's just absolutely not biblical.
But
So I don't like that.
But the human body basically has nothing outside of
The
itself.
human body, I am
Dirt, and we
a person
return to
by
dirt.
myself, and I do my own actions by myself.
But we came from dust and we'll return from dust. And
Exactly.
the human body is nothing but dust. It's just
Sure.
it's just a husk. It's just an
Sure.
avatar. It's just
Sure.
something that
But in this
behind
case,
that the spirit drives.
right, the Father is not the Son, and that's
He's
the problem that you're seeing.
Father is not the Son, but the Son is the incarnation of the Father.
No.
And just like if you were to actually have a human son, your son would grow into you. No, not grow into you, but
Okay,
he
I was
would.
about to say that. No,
No, I didn't express that correctly.
that's fine.
But he would grow into another human as you are a human.
Mhm.
And so.
But the Father's not a human.
But when he incarnated and took on flesh,
The Father did not
he took.
incarnate.
Well,
It
he
was His
obviously
Word that
did.
incarnated. I think there's a delay here. I'm sorry.
No, I'm stuttering because I'm just so shocked I don't know what to say. In one of the comments, I said that the Trinity Church is the church built on Philip rather than Peter, and Philip said, "Jesus, show us the Father," because he thought they were two people. He thought they were different people, and Jesus rebuked him. He said to him, "Are you serious, Philip? Are you messing around right now or not? Have I been with you so long time, and you still don't realise that I am the
You want to
Father?"
read that passage?
It's John 4:9,
I know.
14,
I know
9.
it is. Yeah, I've already got it. So, John, I was wanting to bring this one up to you anyway earlier, but let's see. He says right here. Um, let's see. Which one was it? It's
14:9.
9.
Verse
Okay.
9.
Okay. So I was going too far down. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Philip said to him, "Lord, show us the Father, and it will be enough for us." Jesus said to him, Have I been with you so long that you still don't know me, Philip? Listen to this. Whoever has seen me has seen the
seen the
Father.
Father.
Listen though. Let's read the rest of it in context. How can you say, "Show us the Father"? Do you believe that I am in? Do you not believe that I am in the Father and the Father is in me? You see how
He's in.
both, right?
I was going to pause it there because I'm a little bit disappointed. Actually, I really should have pulled him up on this at the time. He now manages to look at more at verse 10 and he ignores verse 9. The point that he who has seen Jesus has seen the Father. He doesn't address that, and I should have really made him address that, because it's the same person. It's the Son is the incarnation of the Father. Therefore, if you see the Son, you've seen the Father. But yeah, I'll let it play.
He's in
Here's-
consciousness, and he's got consciousness, and consciousness is between them both.
That's not what no because
Well,
again,
when you understand the Trinity and that Father is mind, then he's talking about being
the
in
Father is not
consciousness.
mine. That's what I was trying to tell you earlier is that the Father, Son, and Spirit, all three have separate minds. But
As emotions have a will of their own, and the
let,
mind has a will of its own, and the flesh has a will of its own.
no, that's not no. My flesh is not going to go against my emotions. But we're not going to go into that. That's fine. What I'm trying to say here is that again, if this is the same context that he puts us in.
I'm just going to pause actually. His flesh is not going to go against his emotions. If that was true, then that means that if he wanted to punch somebody in the face, then 100% he's going to do it.
When we become one with God, right? In John 17, okay? So if you're saying that God is one person, correct?
100%, yeah.
That's different from us, right?
100%, yeah. As I say,
Okay.
you've got some conjoined triplet.
Right. No. Just get that out your mind because I've already
When
explained that.
when somebody says three persons as one being, I can only think of
As
a
one
conjoined
being, not
triplet.
as one person. That would be three persons within one person. Okay, that would not be the same.
But
Now listen. Now there has been such thing as triplet or two people sharing one body and everything else. But that's not what this is. Listen. So let me just ask you this, right? And we can continue on with John 14. But I just want to I have a question because if this right here, okay, you said that when Jesus says that I am in the Father and the Father is in me, right? How did you interpret that?
I in the Father would mean that the Father has a conscious perception of him and is aware of his activity and is all-knowing of him.
Mm-hmm.
And then to say that the Father is in him is to say that he is a conscious being. He's a being with consciousness.
Okay, so not two persons.
Not two persons, no.
Okay. But whenever he says this in John 17, that he is in us and we in him, would that not be two separate persons? But that would be us being God's conscious.
Well, as I say,
whatever.
I don't think that this person of the Father should be necessarily considered a person. He's outside of creation, but he was then
No, he has a personality and mind
but
and everything else. You've already
yeah,
went on
but
that, yeah.
he's personified in the Son.
Okay, I'm trying to get you to answer one question. Okay, what I said is that is God a person? You said yes. Are we a person? You said yes. But whenever Jesus says that I am in the Father and the Father's in me, somehow that's different from him saying that we are in him and he will be with us, but will be in us. It's the same exact way. It's the same exact context, but somehow it's
And
different between the Father and the Son.
I, I don't really even have a sort of problem understanding that that is the same, and I'm not sure what your objection is to it. I suppose is what I'm saying. What's your actual objection there?
Well, whenever he says, I am in the Father and the Father's in me, that's personhood. That is one
Yeah,
person with another person.
but the way I explained it was that the Father had the consciousness of the Son, and the Son also had consciousness as well.
But again,
And
how would
we
that
are
be
the same.
different in that
'Cause
context with us and God? How would that be any
it
different?
wouldn't. It wouldn't. It wouldn't.
It wouldn't be
And that's
different.
that's what I mean. I don't
So
understand
it
why
would be
you'd reject
person
it. It
with
would.
person.
But Jesus says, "Let them be one as we are one."
Yeah.
Let them, and he says that he'll send the Spirit, and then he shall come, and the Father shall come,
Mhm.
and so
They are
I,
in
yeah,
he is in
yeah,
us and we are in
yeah,
him. That's what
yeah.
it says.
So yeah, I'm just as Jesus says it of the Father. It's the same applicable to us. Yeah,
Okay, so that would be Jesus as a person in the Father as a person and vice versa. There's no difference.
I I don't understand why it has to be two people. If the Father is universal consciousness, he is the mind of everything.
Mhm.
He's the mind that was existed before creation.
And so is Jesus, and so is the Spirit. Separately.
No.
Yeah.
It's so confusing because I've paused it, by the way. It's confusing the way that you have to switch between talking a Trinitarian language and understanding it as a single person. Because in a minute I asked to look at 1 Romans 5:7, which somebody's actually quoted here in the chat. Which we don't actually properly get up on the screen. But it says that there are three that bear record, in heaven: the Father, the Word, and the Holy Ghost. So we understand that these three are the complete makeup of God, having a mind, a spirit, and the ability to speak, which is act. So he's got thoughts, actions, and emotions. So it's a single person, but then I'm trying to define the single element of the Father as being the mind. And yet when I mention Father, obviously Mitch is thinking it's a complete person, and whereas I'm just trying to describe the element of mind, and consciousness is we are in consciousness, and I believe that the universal consciousness, the Godhead, is aware of us and is conscious of us. His Holy Spirit is in us. And I don't know why. I'm not quite sure what Mitch's objection is here. Let me let it play on.
Jesus wasn't even there. The Word hadn't
Jesus
been.
wasn't there.
The Word had not become flesh at that point.
Jesus wasn't there from all eternity.
The Word became flesh in the New Testament.
No. Listen, what I'm saying here is that the Son is the Word, and the Word is the Son. They're the same person. So what I'm saying here is that whenever in Colossians 1, listen, in Colossians chapter 1, whenever it says that he was before all things, meaning the Son, Jesus.
I know that you read a bastardized Bible, but get up 1 John 5:7.
Oh, jeez.
Get up 1 John 5:7 and get it up in the King James Bible. Use a real sword.
Use a what?
A real sword, not a butter knife. You're going to get hurt with a plastic butter knife.
What are you relying to?
I'm saying if you're not,
if ESV is
a plastic butter knife, yeah, it's not a sword. It's not a two-edged sword.
So are you King James only?
I'm King James only, yeah.
I knew it, man. That's where we can't do this battle here because
get up 1 John 5:7.
Listen, I'm not going to keep doing this if we're going to only pick one source. That's not how it's going to be.
Have I complained up till this point?
No, but this is what I'm saying.
Okay.
This is what
okay. Well, let's do a study. Let's do a study on 1 John 5:7 in different translations, and let's.
I know what it says, and that is not in the original manuscripts. That verse.
You go for the Codex Vaticanus and Codex.
We're not doing the Textus Receptus and all that stuff. because we have
The,
earlier manuscripts when you get
the
this.
biblical Trinity is the Father, the Word, and the Holy Ghost. The Son is not part of the biblical Trinity.
The Son is the Word, and I can show you.
The
In
Son,
the King James Bible.
the Son occurs when the flesh, when the Word takes on flesh.
They're the same person. When the Word emptied himself, it says emptied himself. That's it. That's in the Greek, okay? Emptied himself, okay? So he emptied himself. The Word did. He did.
He's putting so much
But
emphasis on
in
this one
John
word
1,
that
it
we've
says
been
that the
over
Word
so
was
much.
with God and also God. So with God and also God, right? So if he's with God, that is God with God, okay? Face to face, God with God. Now, when I say face to face, I don't mean like, God, the Father's human face. I shouldn't have even said that because now I'm just going to confuse you. But so
I'm done. I'm done. We're wasting our time. You're late for the party. God revealed his arm, and you're late to the party, and I can't help
no,
you.
I think I think that would be okay. Wow, did you see that? Did everybody just see that?
I'll let
That's
you
what
watch
a
this.
coward looks like.
That's what a coward looks like.
That's what a coward looks like.
I'm the coward.
Someone who's not actually willing to go through the scriptures, right, and actually know what they're talking about.
I literally just said to him, let's do a Bible study and look at different versions on 1 John 5:7. And then when I don't know what he was saying, he was dilly-dallying, and so I then leave, and then it's me. I don't want to look at the scriptures.
And if somebody's just going to leave like that and say this is a waste of time without actually going through the scriptures, do you see how cowardly that is? That's very cowardly. Do you see that?
I'll take it all day.
These are the kind of people that try to downplay the Trinity and have absolutely no clue what they're talking about.
I've got no clue what I'm talking about. Let him worship his conjoined triplets, eh? Anyway, guys, that's another video. Oh no, yeah, it was recording. Cool, I thought that wasn't recording then. Right, yeah, that's another video, guys. Like and subscribe, and see you on the next one.